everyone, my name is Jeremy and I'd like to invite you to come look over my shoulder as I play through
Hey, That's My Fish, a game for 2 to 4 players, designed by Alvidas Jekliunas and Gunter Cornet, and produced by Phalanx Games.
Alright, well, let's have a look and see what's inside the box. Okay, well, you've got the rule book, as you'd expect. Then you've got 60 different tiles here, some of which have got a single fish on it, some of which have got 2 fish, and there's a few in here that have got 3 fish on them. And the other thing that you get here is an assortment of little wooden penguin shapes here. There are 16 of these, there's 4 of each color. You can see cute little penguins here. That's what you get in the box. Now let's take a look at what the setup looks like. Okay, now in terms of the setup of the game, what you're going to do is you've got these 60 tiles, these ice flow tiles. You shuffle them all up, and as much as you can, you try not to see what you're doing here. You shuffle them all up, and then you lay them out in this an array right here. So starting with 7, and then 8, and 7, and so on, until you've got this kind of a setup here. Now, it doesn't have to look like this, but this is the one that they recommend in the game here. What you want to do as much as you can is try to evenly distribute the tiles with the 3 fish on them and the tiles with the 2 fish on them as much as you can, because you don't want them all clumped up in one spot like this right here. That's probably a little bit much. Anyway, just to illustrate what's going on here, the setup here is probably the one, if I can say it, negative part of this game, because this does take a little while to get this all set up, and you want to give yourself a little bit of space in between each of those tiles there, because you're going to be grabbing them in a bit here. After this is all set up, depending on how many players you've got, you're going to play with a certain number of these little penguins. The youngest player should start, and so let's say that you've got, if you've got 3 people playing, you'll play with 3 of these. And so what you're supposed to do here is the youngest person would start, and when you place your penguins at first, what you're going to do here is you place them on tiles that have a single fish. Okay? So you put them in. It doesn't matter where you put them. You can put them anywhere you want. You kind of want to think ahead though, and think about where you're going to move your pieces. We'll talk about that in just a second. But here we go. Whoops, probably wouldn't have put that guy there. Probably maybe over here. And then one more blue. Once your penguins are all set out like that, the game is ready to begin. So here's how the game works. Starting with the youngest player, what they're going to do is they're going to pick up one penguin and they're going to slide it along a line here. They got to go straight as far as you want, but they got to go in a straight line. Okay? They can't take any corners. They can't jump over anybody. And as soon as you move a penguin off of a spot, you get to take that piece. Then the next player would go. Let's say it's green. Green's going to jump up. Let's maybe move over here. Just one. Or sorry. Actually, the green's probably going to move over here to the 3 to steal that one first. And then they get that tile right there. And then blue's turn. Blue's going to move. However, blue's going to move over here. Let's say picks up this one. And you keep moving like this until you can no longer move. Until your penguins are on their very last spot. And then you pick that one up here. Then you're done. If you go out early, if for some reason you're on a little spot here. Let's say, for example, that my blue guy here gets stranded like this. Well, he's got one move left, and then he's going to pick up this one, and then he's done. And if that was my last blue, if that was the only one I had left, that was it. At the end of the game, you flip over your tiles, everybody counts the number of fish that you got, and whoever has the most fish is the winner. Alright everybody, that's the game Hey, That's My Fish. I bought this game specifically to be a game that we would play with our children, and when we started playing it, I was pleasantly surprised by what I kind of saw happen during that game here. My sons were moving their little penguins around, picking up the fish and whatnot, and they moved really, really quickly, and they were all excited, and they were happy when they would take me or my wife and they would isolate us in a little ice flow and whatnot. But when it came time for my wife and I to move, all of a sudden things got very serious, and we were looking at each other, because there is a fair bit of strategic thinking that goes on in this game. you're really looking at the board, you're looking at your possible moves, and you're trying to coordinate your penguins together so that you can maximize the number of fish that you get, while at the same time trying to isolate people so they don't get as many fish. It's a wonderful game. It's like the modern kids movies, where you go and you watch them, and the animated feature is wonderful. The kids love it, but there's that second level of humor that they're starting to work into these movies to appeal to the adult audience. That is, hey, that's my fish. It's got a cute little theme, appeals to the kids. You're moving little guys around collecting fish, but there's a bit of a mathematical sort of thinking process that happens if you want to win the game, that makes this game actually really engaging. Really enjoyed Hey, That's My Fish.